Okay, I had a request this week to look at some plays about some defenders who were low blocking in a shotgun formation. So that involves the free blocking zone, time elements, initial points of contact, and continuing action. So let's look at play number 1. If you look at the highlighted player on the left-hand side of the defensive formation, he is going to stay low, and this is what coaches are calling a crab block. But he basically crawls through the gap. This is not a contact style block. He's crawling through the gap, contacted by the offensive player, and makes the tackle. That's a legal play. Play number 2, a little bit more tricky, but there is a delay here, and you'll see this highlighted player go up and down. That is a noticeable delay, and when he goes down, even though the contact is not forcible, it is clearly a block at the knees of the offensive player. Illegal even in the free blocking zone because the ball has already left the zone. Play number 3, we're going to be looking at a number of players. So start with the defense nearest to us on the line of scrimmage. That's the down lineman. He kind of does a crawl in there. Looks like he gets through the gap to make the tackle. The only way this is a foul is if he contacts one of the players low on his way to the runner. The other 2 players in the middle, they just get hit high and driven, and the third player is double teamed and knocked to the ground. I don't see anything illegal here unless that first player contacted that right guard on his way through low and at the knee. Play number 4 involves just one player on the far side of the defensive line. It looks like when he shoots through, he misses the right guard in a low capacity, and the right tackle just buries him. So in this case, looks like he didn't do any damage. Just want to talk to him about how he contacts players coming through. Play number 5 is unusual, and I want you to concentrate on the nose guard. He lowers his helmet and uses it as a battering ram. His timing may be okay here. Nose guard kind of has a sense for the ball. But when he lowers his helmet and uses it as a battering ram on a player's knee, that's a form of spearing and a foul. Play number 6, pretty easy one. This one goes into what they're calling a crab walk, but he uses a crab walk to initiate a block at a player's knees. That's definitely delayed, although not forceful, still dangerous. Play number 7 is going to be the player on the line closest to us, and you can see that he just goes straight down. This is not a hip and slide. This is straight for the lower legs, and this is a violation of the low blocking rule and should be called. Play number 8 is, I guess all I can say is interesting. You can see that the defensive lineman just squats down, puts his hands down, the offensive lineman kind of jumps on him, and then you get a little bit of a roll. I don't see anything wrong with this. It's just kind of embarrassing to look at. Play number 9, a little bit more of the same. We got 2 people on the inside. It's 1, 2, third and the fourth guy up. They're just kind of going down, and the offensive linemen are covering them up. I don't see any drive or impact related contact here. So again, just occupying space. Play number 10 is a little bit different, and it's the lineman who's nearest us, and he's highlighted there. There's a hesitation delay, and he does go down. There's contact with the hands on the offensive lineman, but he is shooting for the legs, and he's getting into the legs of the second wave as well. So this is a foul. It's a deliberate act and needs to get knocked out of the game. Play number 10, the player highlighted tries to go down in a left direction. They pull an offensive stunt. He doesn't hit anybody. He doesn't do anything. He just gets basically encapsulated by the offensive lineman. There's nothing here. Play number 11, interesting. I want to watch the nose guard. Everybody else is okay. What I don't like about this is that he shoots head first, throwing his arms back. So if he's initiating that contact with his shoulder and you interpret this as immediate, it's okay. But I do think there is some hesitation as the ball is already at the 35-yard line, really when you can see some forward movement. What I also don't like is that he's leading with that helmet, and if that initiates contact on the blocker anywhere other than above the heads or shoulders, which is targeting, then that would indicate a spearing act. So this is probably a play that we would want to address early. Play number 12 is another example of a guy just getting his hands on the ground and not doing much. The offensive lineman seems to handle him pretty well. The guy's not crawling into his legs. He's basically stationary after that initial movement. So this is nothing. Play number 13, I want you to look at the still shot. Just be cognizant of the player in back of this guy with his hands on him for a momentous shove. There wasn't one there, but just be aware that that situation exists. This guy just falls to the ground in the gap. There's nothing there. Play number 14 is more of the same. You've got a couple of guys highlighted here. Slanting in, going to the ground. The offensive guys handle it just fine. Knock them to the ground. This is not a foul. Play number 15, this one I am concerned about because there's a delay. So highlighted player, snap, delay, and he goes low. I can't see what he hits. I would need another angle. But I expect that he probably hit a guy low. There was a noticeable delay. That should have been a foul. Okay, that's it for this one. Just keep in mind that low blocking is illegal by nature, and it's only allowed with certain exceptions to the rule. So if those exceptions aren't followed very clearly and precisely with regard to the intent of those exceptions, then they should be default fouls and judged that way. Good luck going into the playoffs.